I love what you were saying earlier about the idea of owning these collectibles and being able to flex, being proud of your collection. And based on the nature of collecting and your experience in the space, what do you feel are the three important elements that define the collector psychology?
It's status, it's peer pressure. Look, and that's what Cabbage Patch was all about. That's what Pokemon's all about. It's about status and peer pressure. And if you can hit those buttons, you're going to get people, frantically trying to get the stuff that you have. If you, so those are two of them. I think scarcity or rarity. I think status and peer pressure. I remember going to our booth. There was this guy who was like a big collector. You know what I'm talking about? But he supposedly had spent $1 million on VEVE.
Is it Dr. Rolex? I mean, that seems like another.
Rolex.
Dr. Rolex? Rolex, yeah.
Rolex.
Dr. Rolex.
There you go. There's his name. It's Rolex.
Yeah. Shout out to Dr. Rolex.
Right? Yeah. So therefore, this guy was wearing a crazy watch, and he was into collecting all kinds of interesting stuff. Besides just NFTs, he was a real collector of all this stuff. But again, why does he do it? Because he wants to say, "Look what I got."
Subtext. He's actually a really nice guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's not a bad guy.
Sure. Yeah.
Really nice guy. But why do you do it? Why do I have a 57 T-Bird that I couldn't even drive because it was so difficult to drive it? Because everybody loved it when they saw it. Hey, yeah, great car. That's why you do it. Why do you wear a certain brand? Because that brand, theoretically, in your mind or some people's minds, puts you in a scope of places that no one else is applicable to. I think that's the rubber meets the road, so to speak. And the more outrageous we can get, the more we will sell. I go on a website all the time that sells confiscated stuff from criminals. And there's laws in most states that if somebody is a criminal, they can impound their possessions that were gotten by illegal gain. Right? So drug dealers, what do they get? They get watches. They get watches like crazy. They get jewelry. And what a nice withstanding drug dealer does, he buys a watch like a Rolex, and he tricks it out, right? So there's a watch on there, and they appraise this stuff, right? So they get an idea of what it's worth, and the money goes back to the law enforcement agency that adjudicated it, and they then turn around and spend it on other products, for themselves that they need. This one watch was on there once. It was a Rolex, and they had tricked it. This guy had tricked it out. And the valuation was $500,000. He counted all the diamonds he had put on it. Not done by Rolex, but by and the bidding was like up to $45,000. I'm sure somebody bought it, but what do you do with it? So the idea is that. But I love to buy stuff. That's when I just got on there, and I $400. It's all about that. It's all about if you give a present to somebody, you want them to love it. Right?
Yeah.
Actually, buying something for children, that's a problem. Most parents don't know what to get their kids. They don't know what they like. So they're very definitely afraid of buying something that their kids don't like. So they want to find out what their kids like, And, now when you go into a toy store, there's nobody to help you. But online, you can look at all this stuff. To say, okay, do you like Paw Patrol? Or do you like this? Do you like that? Do you like this? And they'll give you an answer. And then, you can go out and buy that, which, make them happy, right? So adults are no different. What makes them happy? Makes you, think that you're omnipotent. You're a Wizard of Oz. Whatever the case may be. That's what I want to see. I want to see more creativity in the NFT space. I want to see more stuff that goes. People, I gotta have that. Oh, I gotta have it. I want to have, and then show them ways how they can display it. So it's not just you're buying it, but here's how it would look in your showroom. Here's how it would look in your living room. Here's how it would look in your wherever it might be. And I think that will go a long way to creating additional, excitement and also get people to go out who aren't necessarily crypto enthusiasts. So again, another part of the conundrum is you've got, most of the world who are still collectors. So how do you, get them into the game? Well, I'm telling you, that's what you'll do.
Kind of tying into what you were just saying there. So I guess, what do you think are some of the main reasons that consumers have been hesitant to adopt digital collectibles up to this point?
Two major reasons. They don't understand the crypto connection, or they are afraid of the crypto connection. And some people maybe just don't know if that's something they want to get their claws wrapped around. And I think also we haven't done enough promotion in the world outside of the digital space world. We get everybody to know what the heck this is. And you got to attack the rest of the universe. And you got to attack it in a way that is commiserate with what they've normally been used to in terms of the things that I'm talking about. And I think those are the things that VEVE has to do. I know David is certainly looking at all of this, and we have to really get into more of the mainstream, if you will. We talked about one time selling NFTs at Walmart. Well, are we going to do that? We're going to have that. Are we going to be able to do that? I don't know. I don't know what the legalities of that are. Right? We designed that. I remember many years ago, we designed a rack. It was a card. And this is Superman NFTs, you just pick it up and pay for it at the counter, and then you take it home and load it. That's been done a lot. I mean, Activision had a game called Skylanders. That's what that was. You bought it, you had a little chip in it, you then loaded it. So why can't we do the same with NFTs? Put them in a retail. Put them on a dump, put them on a spot. I think we have to do that. But the problem is, will the licensor let you, because they have their own licenses that are out there. They're going to let you do that. So there's a whole litany of places, but that's one way we can expand the universe. If the Walmart shoppers start to get into it, much more, you have to get things that people really are interested in having, and make the entry easy, make the purchase easy. Again, I understand why. There's a lot of stuff you have to go through. You have to buy gems, and you have to register, on the platform, and you have to be verified. And I think those things probably are at some level diminish the amount of people that want to do it. So I know they're working on trying to make it easier, but they're caught because they have a lot of laws that they have to, especially when you deal with the currency side. So I think that's where you have, some issues. If you can't make it easy, that's going to deter a lot of people from doing it. But eventually they'll figure it out. They'll have to figure it out, because that's where you're going to open up the whole entire nuance of new stuff.
I mean, you just look at the internet. I mean, it took years and years and years for people to want to use it, and now you can't get people off of it.
Well, again, now they're going back into the stores, though. And we're talking to people that are to shopping malls. They're getting busy again because, again, it's the experience too. One of the things about a shopping mall was that you run into other people. And that, why is Disneyland, you can't get in, it's sold out. It's exponential, it's experiences. So, I remember this was so funny. I remember many years ago, you go to a Disney World or someplace, you get a picture taken with your favorite character, right? Now you can do it at home with VEVE and with your camera. You buy the NFT, you can pose with it, you can do anything you want. Or you can take it out on the mountain, and then have it posted on your vacation. Hey, I'm sitting on top of the mountain with my friend, Spider-Man, and so the whole litany of stuff you can do, which is kind of fun. Again, it goes back to what do people do historically, and what can they do going forward, which is some of the things they did historically, but some of the things that they can do now too. It's going to take some time. David's in his second year, right? He's in his second year. Yeah. You forget that's 2 years old for all intents and purposes, and it feels like it's been like 20 years. It's just but 2 years. Give it some time. There's been a lot of failures. There's been a lot of problems. There's been a lot of successes too. So everybody thought this was so easy. Everybody jumped into it. It's not so easy. Nothing is so easy.
I love that you brought up the experiences and how important that is. And because I've always felt, especially with VEVE digital collectibles, when people see it, that's when they believe it. Even if they dislike the idea of NFTs and what they are, when I show those digital collectibles in person, what they can do in AR, it blows their minds. And I remember in a recent Twitter space hosted by Lori, big shout to Lori. I know you mentioned that when you saw them in AR, that's when you realized, okay, this is impressive. What impact do you think that AR and VR technology are going to have on consumers for these digital collectibles worldwide?
I think there's three actual processes that I think are important. AI, artificial intelligence. Because there's no reason why AI can't be combined with augmented reality either, right? So you end up with because AI, we're working on a couple of things that are not related to VEVE. We have a company that developed a piece of software that, today, how many cameras are out there, security cameras in the country? Any idea? It's probably 200 million. Every place is out. You're probably photographed 20,000 times a day. You don't even know it. And every organization has their own cameras. So New York City Police, the fire department, DEA, they have their own cameras. So this software gets hooked up into your land, wherever your computer is. It's got artificial intelligence built into it. So it takes a picture of somebody. It knows whether they have a weapon. It compares the shapes and outlines with millions of other variables and says that person's got a weapon. It's got a rifle. It's got a pistol. It's got a knife. Then it notifies the appropriate security tranche inside that facility that here's the person, we think they have a weapon. Picture that in a football game. That everybody that's walking through an underpass, they can screen like that, see if there are any weapons. Schools, if they had that, maybe they could stop somebody from walking into a school with an AR-15. But we're selling that now. We're licensing that to all kinds. The FBI bought it. You have subway companies are buying it. Not that you can't use it to prosecute somebody. That's because it's a person meant, but you can certainly say, okay, well, that person may have a weapon. We should talk to them, especially if we have a security understanding that is really not obtrusive. An armed guard. I mean, imagine going into a big casino in Dubai. You're a big railroader. They want to pat you down. Mm-hmm. But if they had the software, they would know that person's got a weapon. Let's talk to them, see what the heck they're doing. So that to me is where the excitement lies, where you take AI and augmented reality, and of course VR, virtual reality. Virtual reality, of course, works for people who are ever going to travel, right? They don't want to go anywhere. But to me, I think that nothing beats being in the real location where you are actually experiencing it firsthand. It doesn't mean you couldn't have augmented reality on top of that. See, that's where I think there's another interesting little game there. Like you said with Pokemon Go, or with anything else that we're talking about. So it's a wide open space. I think the people that are going to be the leader of this are going to be at Disney. They're doing it in their theme parks now. They're trying to figure that out. I don't know what Facebook's doing. I mean, I just don't know what they're up to. They've laid off 11,000 people today in their Meta division. I guess they're called Meta, right? That's the name. And their stock is down, substantially. I think there's a lot of opportunity for all these technologies to be melded in. There's no reason that VEVE can't be making movies either.
Yeah, it's so cool you said that, because actually Disney, they actually did a series called Remembering, and actually you could use your iPad and you could see like a waterfall come out of your TV. So they're using this kind of technology right now, and you can imagine it like Disneyland parks. You're going to be able to personalize your experiences. You could see TIE fighters flying in the sky. You could see droids crawling on the ground. Like, this is going to be.
The thing I liked was it's not new anymore. Was like you could buy a fireplace where they showed a picture of a fire inside the fireplace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually, they had smells coming off it and heat. So
yeah.
You go to your fireplace, but the fact is you weren't. So I think there's a lot of ways to do it. We're in the middle, just the beginning. We're touching the tippy of this right now, and there's a lot more stuff that has to be done, and hopefully they can do it. Hopefully the VEVE can do it and do things that are not traditionally what's been done, but things that are new and garner additional collectible opportunities and do all kinds of things.
One of the really cool things and one of the capabilities of digital collectibles is that you're able to access them anywhere in the world, which is something with physical collectibles is really tough. Like comic books, for example, if you live in sub-Saharan Africa, not super easy for you to get your hands on a Marvel comic book if you were really interested in collecting that. Whereas, in the United States, it's very accessible. We have comic book stores, but with the prospect of digital collectibles and digital comics, you can have somebody, who lives anywhere in the world buy a digital comic and still kind of have that same collecting experience. So I was wondering how you think this type of accessibility and especially like localization, potentially with languages, for those different areas will affect the collectibles markets in the future.
I think it's going to be very important. I think, right now there are some limitations on certain countries. You can't go to China. I think the idea of, these things are online worldwide, because I really believe that, globalization, but it has to be done the right way. Follow. So I'm a firm believer that maybe you do geo blocking. You have certain things. Like India's got a very strange messaging in regard to what's popular in India. Certain things. Yeah, they like Marvel. But their whole kids, the number one kids programming has nothing to do with Marvel. It's their whole background of the whole idea of the Indian laws, right? So if you're doing NFTs there, you better do them in conjunction with whatever they like. then you might want to geo-block that stuff getting outside of India. But India's third largest population in the world. I think the localization issue's got a long way to go with this. The good news is, it's a picture, so it's not a language issue. Of course, there's a language issue regarding to how you do it. But again, there's other laws, though. These countries have different laws. They have different taxes. So that's something that you have to really be aware of. No, there's no way of knowing until it happens. But I think it should happen. It's got to happen. You got a population of 8 billion people. If you get some more of those people that be involved with this stuff, everybody they're talking about how long it took cell phones to get out rural countries, or the same problem. We have cell phones, so how do we do it? It's it's another challenge.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing, especially like these comic books, right? And they're in English, and they're originally created in English, but through localization, you could potentially change languages around the world.
It's like Japanese anime, right? Initially, that stuff was really good in Japan, and had to be translated in order to make it good outside of the rest of the world. But similarly with the Indian stuff, you're going to have to translate it, or make it for them. But somebody's going to do it, and somebody's going to really make some cashola on it. Look, we're so infant in this thing. We forget. We seem like we're going around the horn already. We went through. Oh, it was tremendous last year. This year we're a little bit diminished. Another breakthrough NFT. Another breakthrough idea that's going to use the technology is going to drive this thing right back up again. So, and again, the crypto will settle down too. It's going to it'll have to be settled down. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. If you're in a position are concerned about values going up and down, exponentially, this might not be for you. You gotta really stick in for the long pull. And the long pull is going to be quite a while. And there's no guarantees of where this thing goes, but it's like any other technology. Like who would have thunk what the cell phone did today? Who would have thunk it? I mean, when I first got it, you were going, "Oh, great! I can talk to you, and you're not even here." And now, everything you do is attached to this damn thing. Well, that's going to happen. To some extent, it's going to happen to the digital collectibles as their utility get bigger and bigger. More people are going to use it. So, anyway, my word is enjoy it for what it is. I think most people should, if you like it, collect it. One of the things in the art world, they always say, you don't buy it as an investment. You buy it because you like it. I think you got to like it. And then don't worry about it. If you're going to buy it as an investment, you're going to end up driving yourself nuts. But if you like this particular NFT and you want it because you think it's cool, buy it and enjoy it. And if the time you you finish enjoying it, you sell it. But I think if you try and put it into just a financial parameter, I think you get disappointed because you have to be. You're never going to stay in one place.
It's a really good point. And that's the whole the idea of being an investor versus a collector. Sometimes you dip in a little bit both.
We got to get more collectors, right?
Yeah.
We get more collectors, then that's where we have the benefit.
Al, thanks so much for coming on our podcast. This has been a really, really fun time talking about the future of the space and where it's at now. Thank you so much for coming on.
Really appreciate your time.
Thank you. And, keep up your good work. But I'm telling you, cut shorter. I can't watch these 2-hour podcasts.
Yeah. We got you. It'll be a series.